Gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Westmoreland.
Thank you, Chairman. Director Cordray, on data security, what system do you use to determine if somebody is fulfilling their commitment on data security?
There's a number of procedures that have been developed and actually really enhanced in the federal government over the last several years. You know, the federal government's had some problems in this area, and the private sector's had many problems in this area, and it's something that I think we're all very attentive to. Nothing would more discredit.
What standard do you use if you're going to go out and evaluate a company and possibly fine them for having
I see. I thought you were talking about our own data security. We're using the standards that we understand to be common in the industry. We're using the standards of best practices at different institutions.
What standard would that be?
Well, we're taking some guidance from the Federal Trade Commission, which is ahead of us on this issue. We just had an enforcement action against Dwala in this area.
What did you use for that enforcement? What standard did you use?
So what we did was whenever we engage in an enforcement matter, we opened an investigation, took a look at their own security protocols, whether they were being followed. By the way, that's the first thing. Whatever security level or threshold you're talking about, one is whether it's there on paper but actually being followed. If it's not being followed, then you have a problem. Yep. And that's one of the things that we thought we found.
What standard do you use for the CFPB?
Again, we are looking at all of the standards in the industry and attempting to adapt from that. If you want me to have
you don't have a standard now?
If you want me to have my staff follow up with you on some of the
I'd just like to know what
that,
standard you're using,
okay,
because
I'm not myself an expert in that area, but we could certainly inform you better, I'm sure.
You stated that consumers entrust companies with significant amounts of sensitive personal information. And it's crucial that companies put systems in place that protect this information. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming you think it's just as critical for the CFPB to protect this information that, in your statement, you said consumers entrust with companies, but the CFPB has a lot of information that the consumer wouldn't normally give to a credit agency. Is that true?
Well, I'd say two things about that. Number one, I do think it's fair to hold us accountable for the security of data that we have. But number two, the data that we have typically is anonymized, and it is de-identified, and it cannot identify either you or me. So it is less risky than the kind of data you're talking about private companies having, which tells all about you and all about me, and it's very clear who's being identified there. That's much more risky, and if they get my credit card information or yours, we can be defrauded.
So you think private companies is much more, the information is much more risky than yours?
It's more risky because it's personally identified there, and that's typical. They're using it to market to you and me. Our data is not of that kind.
Who has tested your data security system? What company has tested it?
So the folks in the federal government who deal with this across all agencies set standards, and they've now enhanced the standards and improved the standards that we're all seeking to meet. And I think we're all trying to keep up with the best practices.
I know that, but who tested your security of your data?
So again, our IT group could come and give your office a briefing if you want to know the details.
Well, I just want to know who tested it, because you know, you mentioned all the information that's available to other people and that you don't have that much information. I just want to give you a little rundown.
No, I said we have a different kind of information. We don't have information that's identified by you or by me. It is anonymized information for the most part.
I just know that in your system you have the borrower or co-borrower's information of the name, address, zip code, telephone numbers, date of birth, race, ethnicity, gender, language, religion, Social Security, education, military, employment records, financial account numbers, financial events in the last few years, life events in the last few years, mortgage information, current balance, current monthly payment, delinquency grid, monthly payment, refinanced amount, bankruptcy information, credit card, account numbers, credit amount, loan balances, past due amount, minimum payment requirements, high balance amount, charge-off amount, second mortgages, household composition, single male, single female, presence of children by various age categories, number of wage earners in household, household income, property attributes, number of bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, lot size, year built, age of structure, units in the structure, most recently assessed value, longitude, latitude, census block tract, date purchased, origination date, acquisition. Do you think this is
I'm not
really?
sure. I'm not sure what data you're talking about. What particular data are we
This
talking about?
data is given to you and is supposedly in your records. That's from
what
the
are we
National
talking about?
Mortgage
The mortgage
Database.
market? We talking about credit card market? What are you talking about here?
It's data that's in your system, and I think that we
Okay.
need to know how it has been
The
protected.
time,
Be glad to have my folks
the
follow up
time,
with
the
yours.
time
and
of the
give you
gentleman
more
has
satisfaction
expired.
on
The
that
chair
front.
wishes to advise all members that votes are